IU and Seok's names suddenly exploded on social media, not because of an officially announced new project, but because of a rumor that spread faster than any clarification. The two were reportedly in the same city, at nearly the same time, in a place synonymous with luxury, art, and romance, Milan. And from there, everything began to spiral into endless speculation. It all started with vague posts that appeared on social media platforms. There were no clear photos showing them together, no concrete evidence linking the two together. But the internet, as usual, never waits for certainty. IU's name immediately became a trending topic, followed by Seok, who was also drawn into the increasingly wild whirlwind of speculation. Meanwhile, Milan suddenly became the center of attention for fans. Usually, the city only appears in the context of Fashion Week or as a high-end tourist destination for world celebrities. But this time, Milan has transformed into a stage of mystery that has captivated millions of curious eyes. Some fans have begun to formulate their own theories. Some say it's simply a coincidence of overlapping work schedules. Some are even convinced that the two are involved in a secret project that hasn't been announced to the public. Many have also immediately linked this to a possible major collaboration between the Korean drama and music worlds. However, amidst all the speculation, no official confirmation has been made. Both IU's agency and Seok's representatives have remained silent, leaving a void that fans' imaginations have only further filled. And in the entertainment world, silence often speaks louder than words. What fueled this rumor was the timing, which felt too perfect for some. Both were at the peak of their popularity. IU boasted a reputation as a versatile artist who consistently blended music and acting, while Seok was enjoying the international spotlight after numerous drama projects that catapulted him to fame. On online forums, discussions raged non-stop. Some analyzed background photos, others compared flight schedules, and others even delved into minute details of obscure social media posts, all in search of one simple answer. Did they really meet? But the more evidence they claimed to find, the more obscure the truth became. Nothing stands as solid fact. All that remains are pieces of assumptions pieced together to create a larger story, like a puzzle, without a clear picture. Amidst the frenzy, some fans choose to remain calmer. They point out that celebrities often find themselves in the same place without necessarily having any personal connection. Milan, as the world's fashion capital, is often a meeting point for many international artists at the same time. But logic often lags behind curiosity. Every time IU's name appears on a timeline, Seok's name always follows. It's as if the internet has decided to connect truths that might not necessarily be connected. In the entertainment industry, rumors like this are nothing new. The K-drama and K-pop worlds have been rocked countless times by similar speculation, where two big names are suddenly linked simply because they were in the same place. But this time, the intensity of attention feels far greater than usual. There's something about the way the public responds that makes this story snowball. The more it's talked about, the bigger it gets, until it's difficult to distinguish between fact, assumption, and fan hope. Some entertainment observers even say this phenomenon reflects the powerful influence of K-entertainment culture today. Two big names are enough to stir up millions of global conversations in a matter of hours. Yet, despite all the commotion, these two figures continue their activities as usual. There are no clarifying posts, no denials, and no confirmations. Only silence further emphasizes the gap between fact and rumor. And that's precisely where the appeal lies. When there are no answers, people tend to create their own stories. IU and Seok, intentionally or not, are now at the center of a narrative written by the public, not themselves. Is this just a coincidence of two schedules overlapping in the same city? Or is there something more going on than just a chance meeting in Milan? These questions remain unanswered. What's clear is that, as long as there's no official clarification, this story will continue to live, evolve, and change shape in the hands of fans. And like many stories in the entertainment world, the truth may not be the first thing people seek. What matters is that the story itself remains compelling. Amidst the torrent of speculation, one thing has truly captured the most attention: how two big names could create such a huge wave without a single official statement. The modern entertainment world has truly changed. A single piece of information can develop into a global narrative in a matter of minutes, especially when it involves figures as popular as IU and Seok. In various international communities, discussions are no longer simply about is it true or not, but have shifted to what if it's true. Fans' imaginations are working faster than facts. They're imagining possible meetings, behind-the-scenes conversations, and even collaboration scenarios that may never have been planned. Interestingly, most of these conversations are no longer about seeking additional evidence. They're actually enjoying the uncertainty itself. There's a certain thrill when a rumor remains unconfirmed, because in that gray area, all possibilities feel wide open. Meanwhile, IU's name continues to remain at the top of trending topics, not because of new work, but because of persistent curiosity. At the same time, Seok is also increasingly mentioned in global conversations, as if the two are already linked in the same story in the public's mind. In Milan itself, life goes on as usual. Tourists come and go, Fashion Week remains a major draw, and other celebrities continue their agendas, unaware that the city has become the center of major online theories. But the internet never truly stands still. Every new post, no matter how small, is immediately analyzed. Shadows in photos, reflections in glass, and even street scenes can turn into important clues. This is where the rumors continue to gain fuel. Amidst this increasingly uncontrollable situation, IU still showed no signs of responding to the rumors. This silence only made some people more convinced, while others grew more skeptical. These two opposing reactions fueled the debate within the fan community that grew more heated by the day. The same thing happened with Seok. His rising popularity meant his every move was being scrutinized more closely than usual. Even a small step abroad could turn into a lengthy, endless analysis on online forums. Meanwhile, Milan's name increasingly appeared in various fan theories. The city seemed to symbolize an unexplained, mysterious meeting point. In the real world, Milan continued to operate like any other metropolis, unaware that it had become the center of a global story it had never planned for. Several entertainment media outlets began covering this phenomenon, albeit cautiously. They highlighted how rumors could grow without any solid basis, yet still dominate public conversation. This served as a clear example of how the digital age was changing the way information was created and spread. On the fan side, the situation began to divide into two major camps. Some fully believed that something was being hidden, while others insisted that this was simply an exaggerated coincidence. This debate was no longer just about two celebrities, but had become a debate about the credibility of the information itself. Interestingly, every time a new rumor emerges, it always brings with it additional details that cannot necessarily be verified. This is how the story continues to evolve, like a living creature growing from the collective imagination of millions. The more it's refuted, the more new versions emerge. But behind all the commotion, one thing remains constant: the lack of official confirmation from any party. There are no photos together, no statements, and no evidence to truly confirm the truth of the story. Only an empty space filled with assumptions and hopes. And ultimately, this story is no longer just about whether IU and Seok are actually in the same place. It's a reflection of how the modern world works, where the line between fact and story is increasingly thin, and where a simple rumor can turn into a global phenomenon that lives on as long as the public is willing to believe it.